So CNN sounds the alarm. You'll actually be blown away at what they just said on national television. CNN, I don't think they're too right-wing, are they? We need to talk about what they said. Also, we are going to talk about what just happened at a Kamala rally. And this is something that should seriously worry you, especially for someone who is in opposition of the way that she's choosing to rule. Remember, her father was a communist, and she is known to have the most liberal ideology of anyone's ever run for president, and no one actually knows what she truly stands for because she's good at wish-washing. But I want to tell you what she said at a rally, and it should scare you. Also, we're going to talk about one of the biggest financial players in the game that has a podcast, a syndicated radio show that just came out in support of Trump, because not only the values and morals, but he says, again, what do we actually want from a president? And then we'll talk a little bit more financial news. Why is all of a sudden gold and silver being so bullish, meaning it's going up in value at a crazy rate? All the while, there's billionaires pulling out of the market. Even though the market seems to be doing fine, why are all these rich uber billionaires pulling away from the market and pulling into cash? There's a lot of things to talk about. Then we'll dive in a few more stories. Let's jump into these things because I think a lot of these impact not only you, but your money, your livelihood, and most of all, probably your sanity as we come to this election in just 3 weeks. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. Now, let's jump into the topics of today. First, let's talk about what CNN just said. There was an article where they said, we need to sound the alarm. We need to sound the alarm because Trump is more popular now than he was in 2016, 2020. His numbers has drastically gone up, not just with his own base, but with new people coming alongside him. The RFK and Tulsi Gabbard group, where it's the Make America Healthy Again, where the more libertarian part of and maybe really moderate Democrat part that's come alongside of him, the independents. Not only that, you've seen a overwhelming support from Latinos and from African American males. And CNN says, I think this is huge because CNN, you know, again, they absolutely hate Trump. To be honest with you, though, they need Trump back to even have ratings because their ratings are terrible. But listen to this. It says, we're sounding the alarm because you know we are in deep mess if we keep seeing this trend grow. Now, they said another word. He is more popular than he ever was in this point of the campaign versus 2016 and 2020. It is higher than a negative net 27 favorability. The momentum of Kamala has stalled and she needs to get it back on course. She wants to continue to see favor arise, but in fact, they're going in the wrong direction. Trump is trending up. Kamala is stalling or even trending down. The more that they're in front of the podcast, the new form of media, the more Trump shines because he becomes the guy like everybody likes to hang out with. The person who's talking policy compared to Kamala with word salad and complete and utter let me be clears, and she's not clear at all. So this is actually where CNN, a liberal news syndicate that basically hates Trump, is coming out and saying it's not looking good. And to be honest with you, even one of the liberal commentators, Brian Stelter, who hates Trump, the other day said Trump actually was likable. He did a great job. He's done good jobs of making sure people, he has a favorability. And so when you hear this is when all the dog pile starts, though. They come out and they try to spin the words and tell how worthless he is or how old he is or how he's not any good. It actually makes the point even more where people actually say, you know what? That makes me like him more because it seems like he ruffles everybody's feathers and he's gaining more and more popularity. I think what this is the pendulum swinging. And I think people are sick and tired of the establishment, the deep state that is now formed a terrible nation to where we're a third world country. I want you to go back and look. Twitter right now is trending. Go look at the videos from Oakland, California. There was an independent journalist that was driving through there and he said it looks like a third world country. It literally does. It's a flippin' shame that we've allowed our country to do this. So when Gavin Newsom gets up and he talks, you know, to me, what a joke of a person that he's so narcissistic, and Kamala, who is from California, who's supposed to represent California people, who are so narcissistic to think that this communistic or big government way is actually the way that everybody wants it to go, and that everybody wants government in their life more. Come on, that's a joke. So I love the fact that CNN is sounding an alarm, and it's actually one of those things where they hate reporting the news, but they have to, because this is the only way that they can save Kamala, is to try to annihilate Trump with fake news, but ultimately it's building him up. It's almost like everybody knows everything about him, even his flaws, so therefore they're like, I don't care, we're voting for Trump. And that's awesome. Now I want to mention something that happened at the rally, and this gets real serious for me. I'm a Christian conservative, and I don't just say the name. I really want to represent Christ in my life. Again, I'm more conservative than probably any conservative politician that's actually out there. So I would consider myself a conservative libertarian. Give me my freedom, but ultimately, Christ comes first. The thing, though, is yesterday there was an event that Kamala was having, and of course, you know, she's pushing all her liberal talking points and how Trump is worthless and all this kind of stuff, you know. But I want you to listen to what was said. Kamala was on stage talking about abortion. Someone shouts, "Jesus is Lord," in which she replied, "Oh, I think you guys are in the wrong rally." Now, the thing and she was right quick on it. And then people applauded. So when we see the fact that the Christian movement and Jesus and the fact of faith is not important to not only Kamala but the Democratic platform, how can you, as someone who calls herself a Christian, vote for this lady? To vote for the abhorrent sin that the Democratic Party stands for. Take Kamala and Trump out of this. I said this yesterday. If you look at the platforms, there's no way for someone who is a true Christian, and don't give me this spin, well, I call myself a Christian, I go to church, but I'm voting Kamala because Trump's evil. Don't give me that. I want you to look at the platforms, and you tell me who is more anti-Christian and someone who is willing to say, well, I'm not pro-Christian, but I'm not against Christians either. I'm going to let you have your freedom to do what you want to do. I want you to look. Because when you hear this kind of rhetoric right here, well, you must be at the wrong event. And she kept on going. Oh, well, you need to go to the smaller event down the road. That kind of mess, that kind of jargon, it shows that the Democrats don't want Christianity in their party. They want to be the party of the new Sodom and Gomorrah. They want to be the party of the complete California ideology and the communistic way. Think about this. Why do you think so many of people like Dave Ramsey just came out? One of the biggest names in financial talking and experts that basically teaches you common sense. Why else would he just come out and support Trump? Now, he's never really been political. He'll talk a little bit, but pretty much it's on finances. Why do you think he came out for Trump? Because he realizes it's bigger than him now. He even made the comment that he's willing to lose subscribers. And he said, I may get hate for it, but it does not matter anymore. I will support him. Why do you see so many UFC stars and so many football wives and football stars come out? There's a new boxer that came out yesterday for Trump. Because they're seeing the writing on the wall. This is way more serious than this some R&D. This is our freedom. This is our faith. It's all on the line. I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, this is the most important election of all time. I've never said that for any other election. They said that for every election. But at this point, it comes down to your faith or your persecution. Your freedom for faith or your persecution in faith. You don't believe it? Think of the kids getting taken away from their parents because they're not affirming. Think about the grandmothers who were praying at clinics and now they're serving time. 70-something-year-old grandmothers who were praying at a clinic for babies' rights. And now they're in jail. That was Kamala's administration, by the way. So when this person says, Jesus is Lord, and she says, you're at the wrong event, she's foreshadowing exactly what this Democratic Party is about. And that is a serious issue. Kudos to Dave Ramsey for coming out. Kudos for other people when they say, I'm willing to lose audiences to actually support someone who believes in freedom. And that's a big deal. That's why Elon Musk, it's amazing. He did something so amazing last week. He called his own rocket. That's unbelievable. I don't think we realize how big that is. But because he is hated by the leftist media and the liberals, they're not going to give him any credit from being probably the most smartest engineer ever lived since the time of Einstein and Tesla and those kind of individuals. This man is doing monstrous things. But because of his politics, everybody hates him. Kudos to the people who are influencing and who are famous, who are standing up for Trump, because I think that shows true moral character. When these ministers get up and they try to play both sides of the field, you are a heretic. If you're a minister, you should be proclaiming that anybody who is willing to stand up for faith and not stand against faith should be the one to be elected. That is only Trump and the Republicans. Are they perfect? Are they leading your Bible studies? No. But they are willing to give you your freedom and allow you to have it without regulating sin, because that's exactly what the Democrats are doing. Now, I get on my soapbox and I get a little mad about this because we're literally seeing the fall of our country, and this shouldn't even be a close race at all. All right, so Cuba is a communist country. Once a beautiful island in the Caribbean, under communistic rule, and guess what? They just lost a power station that put tens of millions of people out of power, and they don't know when it's going to come back. You know what happens when you have big government involved? Did you see that? They've lost power. You know how vulnerable our grid is? Well, because government is trying to be over it instead of allowing private entities to take it over and quit monopolizing the grid and start making it where it's competitive again. That's how capitalism works. Well, Kamala doesn't want capitalism. She wants communism. Her father's a known communist. Come on, people. Now let's talk about this. Yesterday, FEMA was so proud of themselves. They were showing how they're helping the community in North Carolina. And they had 14 men. It was around 20, but they said 14 men cutting up a 25-foot tree, and they'd pass the logs to each other. And they were throwing it on the pile, and they were so proud of themselves. They gave themselves a pat on the back for helping North Carolina. My son and I, two rednecks, country boys from Mississippi, cut up probably 5 of those size trees by ourselves and put it up. The point is this. Am I great with a chainsaw? Nope. It just shows that when government's involved, crap doesn't get done, or it is a waste. And that's exactly what that showed, and that's exactly what Cuba is showing, and it's a foreshadowing of what we're going to see here when government puts their nose in everything. You know, if you look at Kamala's plans, every one of them is more government intervention in your lives. They call it, oh, it's going to help you, it's going to make your life better. No, it's actually going to cause you more problems because government is putting their self in your life even more. And lastly, something big is happening when it comes to our money. We don't believe it, but you cannot tell me that people like billionaires like Warren Buffett is pulling more and more cash, pulling more money out of Bank of America, pulling more and more money out of different things that he was invested in, Apple, all these huge companies, and becoming more cash. Why do you think so many countries are buying gold and silver now? Why do you think gold and silver is skyrocketing? Because there is something showing that currency overall world is falling and faltering. And here's the thing. There's 2 ways that this can happen. A reset is going to happen with our currency. We can go back to a gold standard and go back to a true money standard, which means, okay, let's back it on gold, let's back it on what it's truly worth, so our paper is worth something more than just trust of some government. Or you're going to see it fall to pieces, and then you're going to go to a digitized currency. Well, that's exactly what the world wants. That's what BRICS wants. That's what America wants with stable coins. That's what even a lot of the people with crypto want. But what that does is that, again, that's an invasive way for a government to step in and know every part of your business, every part of your life. John Kerry came out, the reason I want to mention this is this. John Kerry came out and he made a comment, and it was against agriculture. Now, why does that have anything to do with money, Colby? Because when people are able to transact with cash and personal without government intervention, it does not matter what government says, business still goes forth. Well, if you go to some kind of digitized currency, or you go to some kind of stable coin, or you go to some kind of only phone apps and not cash and it's no good anymore, and you go to that kind of system, this kind of stuff happens. Listen to this. John Kerry says agriculture contributes to 33% of all the emissions in the world. Agriculture, that's how we freaking eat, people. We can't go to net zero, but we can fix agriculture. And it's front and center, and it needs to be part of the solution. You know what that part of the solution is? Shut the farms down, shut the farmers down, and start growing food in warehouses and petri dishes. Genetically modified garbage. You can't just continue to live on this warm planet and then try to feed everybody like this. It doesn't work. We need to reduce it, and we need to reduce it now. We need to fix the food system. Now, back to the financial part of this. If you had cash, you buy from the farmer. You build your own bartering system. You build your own microeconomy. You build your own way of looking at capitalism. Well, you allow government to have it. Did you know that it's like grants at that point? Your money's not your money anymore because they're giving you access to it. But you know what they do in China and what a lot of these countries are going to start doing it? Where if you don't have a good score, if you've bought too much meat this week or you've bought too much of the farm goods this week, you can't buy anymore because it's a global issue. It's a climate problem. You don't believe it's going to happen? That's exactly what's happening in China right now. And that's going to happen for the BRIC system. You believe that's going to happen for America? You have leaders like John Kerry saying this is exactly what's going to happen, that we need to rethink that. It's going to be a whole lot easier for you to buy a box of preservatives and cereal than it will be for you to buy some fresh greens, lettuces right from someone's garden. Because when cash is not king, and when we reset currencies, and you put it all in digitized form where they surveil it, they have rights to your money even more than you do. And they can tell you what to buy and not to buy. So I think there's a lot more things going on with the money. And I think that rich billionaires like Warren Buffett are seeing it. A lot of countries are seeing it because they're buying gold and silver. Here's what they want you, though. They want you to be blinded by it, and you just keep investing in crypto, you keep investing in and putting your money in the banks, and then all of a sudden when the market falls out and you have to go to the bread lines, then you're willing to sign up and say, okay, look, I'll turn in $10 because I'm going to get $20 worth of credit of this new digitized form of currency. That's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to give you more than it's worth because when you lose your cash, you lose your freedom. Big government is not the answer. Kamala is not the answer when she's trying to kick Jesus out of her rallies. We have to fix this broken system. And like CNN says, they're sounding alarm because Trump's gaining popularity. You know why? Because he's common sense. You know why RFK is trying to fix the food system and they hate him? Because it's common sense. We've lived for thousands and thousands of years off working farmers providing food. Why do we think that these stupid people who want to overrule us and want to rule over us can all of a sudden make it different and make it better? They can't. But what they can do is control you. Pay attention, guys. A lot is going on, and we are not out of October. We are not at this election yet. It should be a landslide victory, but don't believe that they're going to just lie down and take the loss. They're going to come at Trump with a vengeance, and then they're going to come at conservatives with a vengeance. There's already bad reports of voting. A lot of issues going on. Pay attention, stay vigilant, stay awake, not woke, and focus on what's in front of you. Take care of your family. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless.
Yeah.